Hi friends, sorry if you can hear my dogs in the background at all. They're chilling in here with me. Today I wanted to talk about something very important, and that's how to help someone who is suicidal, whether they're feeling suicidal in that moment or like how to help them in general if they've experienced these feelings before. I myself am a suicide attempt survivor. I attempted suicide back in high school at age 17. I overdosed. I lived, obviously. Not everyone gets so lucky, and it breaks my heart. One of the most important things you can possibly do, number one, listen. Listen to them, genuinely listen, not just say, I'm sorry, that sucks. Because yes, it does suck, and I understand you're sorry, and I appreciate that, and so do people going through this, but the hardest part about feeling suicidal, for me anyway, is the isolation of feeling like it's wrong to feel that way. Do not shame someone for feeling suicidal. Offer support, offer to help them, ask them if they need to talk about something, ask them what you can do to help them, whether that be, check in on them every so often. No one else is your responsibility. Like, if I'm suicidal, it's not your job to take care of me, but as my friend, I would hope that you'd be willing to support me and offer to help me through rough times, because I would do the same for you. That's how friendships work, that's how relationships work. There's effort on both sides, but a suicidal person needs someone there to offer a listening ear, and not just to how they're feeling depressed, because they usually are, but to what's causing the depression. You want to get to the root of what's causing that depression. What's making them feel so worthless. And, people mean well when they say, but your life is so good, but you've got this going on. People would miss you. But when you're in that suicidal mind frame, you think the world is better off without you. You think you're a burden on everyone. You're terrified to come forward. So the best thing you can do as a friend is to check in every now and then and really ask, how are you doing today? What's going on? Etc. Because a listening ear has been my lifesaver on numerous occasions, and I know that I have done the same for other people. I always try to go above and beyond and dig a little deeper, because I know people with depression tend to conceal it the best they can because they feel like a burden on everyone already, and society says it's wrong to feel a certain way, to be depressed, it's weak. There's nothing weak about being depressed. It's mental illness, and even people who are not mentally ill go through periods of depression at some point in their lifetime. No one is happy 24/7, and there's nothing wrong with depression. Don't take that the wrong way. There's nothing wrong with your feelings. It's what you do with the feelings that matters. That's the important part. So when you listen to someone who's depressed, you're helping them process their feelings. You're helping them understand, okay, maybe this is a little irrational, or just show them you love them. By asking how they're doing, you're showing that you actively care about them. You care that they're here, you value how they're feeling, and you want them around. That's another important thing. Remind them they are loved. And not in a, we love you so much, don't you dare leave us way. In a, we genuinely care about you, we want you around, but don't guilt people for feeling suicidal by saying, I couldn't live without you, etc. That puts more strain on the depressed person that just makes them feel worse. It's like, oh man, I feel so bad for feeling suicidal because I'm hurting this person. And that, stokes the fire. That just feeds that idea that we're a burden on people. And that's not okay. There's a right and a wrong way to phrase things. For example, let's pretend that I'm feeling suicidal right now. Okay? And you're telling me, Jessica, think of how badly I would feel if you were gone. In my mind, and this is not rational because I'm not in a rational mind frame, in my mind, that's saying, oh, I am being a burden on this person because I'm causing them to worry about me leaving this world, so I might as well just do it. Whereas if you say, Jessica, I'm worried about you, I love you a lot, and I care for you, what can I do to help? I'm like, oh, this person wants me around, they're asking what they can do to help, you see what I mean? It's like when you say sorry versus thank you, when an apology is not solicited. If you say, thank you for doing that task, instead of, oh, I'm sorry you had to do that for me. Do you see the connotation difference? Saying thank you instead of sorry gives a more positive connotation than apologizing for something that doesn't need an apology. It's the same type of thing. It's all in phrasing. And make sure to use I messages. I feel worried that blank. I feel that blank. You can be honest with the person. Express your concern. That's okay. Your feelings are valid too. As a friend to a depressed person, you don't want to invalidate your own feelings because that's going to hurt them as well. And it's going to hurt you because ultimately you come first, so you need to make sure to take care of yourself. You can't build off of a broken foundation. So if your own foundation is unsound, you can't take on someone else's stuff. You just can't. You won't be able to support the weight. Take care of you first. That's one of the other big things you can do to help someone. And remind them to do the same thing. Self-care is extremely important. And another thing you can do is distract them. For me, when I'm really depressed, if I have a friend come over and we laugh about stupid stuff, or we color or paint or anything, it gets me out of that mind frame. Having fun reinstills my will to live, because it's like, there is something good in this world, and that's really important to people like me, and just that reminder that we can still have fun and still feel happiness. Because when you're in that dark, isolated place and you feel like you're drowning and you're not going to be able to reach your hand above the surface, you feel like you're never going to breathe fresh air again. When someone sheds a little light in that dark place, you kind of glom onto it and you're like, there is a purpose. And you got to hold on to that. And if you're a friend of someone who's depressed, just love them the best you can. Just, that's really all you can do. In the end, suicide is preventable, but it takes speaking out against it and phrasing it properly. And you shouldn't say commit suicide, because that implies that it's a crime. It adds even more guilt to the people who are feeling suicidal. It's all in how you approach the person, and I ask you to approach them with love, with listening ears. Listen without the intention of replying. Listen to listen. And then if they ask you, a question, or if they ask for a response, provide one, and do express your feelings. But when they're talking about something, like if someone says, I really just don't want to be here, ask why, dig deeper. Don't just say I'm sorry. Don't leave it at a surface level, because that just digs the dagger that they're feeling in their heart deeper. I urge you to help end the stigma surrounding suicide by speaking openly about it. The only way to really stop that is for people to stop being so ashamed of talking about it, because there's nothing to be ashamed of. I guarantee almost everyone in this world has felt this way at least once in their life. Everyone has at least felt some degree of depression. Maybe not suicidal, but empathize. The world is not some bright, sunshiny place all the time, and people who are depressed see the sun a lot less than those who are not. And they need you. They need those bright rays of sunshine. And it's not because they want to glom onto you and leech off your sunlight. It's because they need a reminder the sun is still there, lurking behind the clouds. So thank you for those of you who are friends to people like me who are depressed. Thank you for not viewing us as defective. Thank you for loving us wholeheartedly for who we are and not as an illness. Thank you for thinking of us as people, because that's important. We tend to define ourselves by our illness. I have depression, but I am not depression. I also have fingernails. I am not fingernails. So thank you, friends. Those of you struggling with suicidal thoughts, please reach out. There's hotlines, there's friends, there's people who love you. You matter. I care always. And for those of you who are friends to people who are struggling, I hope that something I said kind of gives you some insight as to what it's like on the other side. To all of you, no matter which side you're on, I love you, I wish you the best, and smile today. You're alive, and that's beautiful. I love you. Bye.